Hello, welcome to the quick review of my Spark Models 1/43rd scale Lancia Beta Montecarlo as raced at Daytona. So this is a Group 5/6 car. So from 1980, it came 10th and driven by Ficchetti and Finotto. And you'll see I've got an additional 1980 Le Mans car, which is a no-name model. I don't know which model manufacturer made that. And a Best Models 1982 car, which was at Monza. And one of the drivers for that car in that race was Mark Thatcher, the son of Margaret Thatcher, the British Prime Minister at the time. And so that's an interesting thing. I think he's better remembered for getting lost on the Dakar Rally. I do have some videos of some Dakar cars if you're interested. So do subscribe, and there's probably a playlist for that maybe. Anyway, back to the model in question, this one here. I do have the case for it. It'd be worth showing you that because it's got some nice stars and stripes detail, because of course it's the Daytona 24-hour race. There we go, Daytona 1980. So it's nice to see that card. So very good. But coming back to the car, as usual with Spark model cars, very nicely made. Great paint finish on it, so you can see there the roof. You've got the reflection in the roof. The front windscreen is nice and reflective too. Got a good visor across the top, which you can see from here as well, that greenness. So you've got plenty of decal detail on the outside of this car. It's fairly accurate decal-wise from what I see, and I'm comparing it with other things. This is actually the Jolly Club sponsored car, in terms of that's the main sponsor, even though it was only a small logo, and you'd think it was Lancia. So I guess Lancia, factory to some degree, but because the main livery is Lancia, of course. So 1400cc you'll see there, and on the back, so it's 1400cc turbocharged engine to go into, no doubt, the 3-litre formula for naturally aspirated cars. One thing I've noticed that's different to the real car is that the headlights here, they have a white background behind them, whereas on the actual car at that race there was a black background on it. I've got a Spark, no, not a Spark, I've got another car where there's a rear wing in black instead of the white it should have been. So you do get these discrepancies on the models sometimes, and sometimes it will be because maybe at a previous race it would have been white, and maybe there was a crash and then they repainted it in a different colour. But who knows what went wrong on this one. But no, I mean, it's nice that you've got the electrical cutout switch there sticking up. You might think the rear view mirrors are at a funny angle, but that is accurate to a photo of the car during the race. So I guess they were keen to get the mirrors up high instead of out wide, perhaps. So yeah, good to see that kind of detail, really. We've got nice wheels, Goodyear logos on the tyres, which is good. Some brake detail in there as well. And let's look at the rear. You can see the centre lock nuts, which are nice to see. Under the car, we've got some kind of space frame detail, because no doubt the centre of the chassis would have been from the production Lancia Beta Montecarlo, but the front and back would have been chopped and subframes added for that. So you can see some suspension detail on the front, and you've got some exhaust detail and turbo. There's a turbo there. It looks like 2 exhausts, but that top exhaust is from a wastegate by the look of it. And if we come over the car here, we'll see there's an intake, a NACA duct intake, and that's a nicely shaped NACA duct, and there's another NACA duct in there. That's the actual shape NACA ducts are, whereas this model here from Best is basically a triangular shape, which isn't really accurate to what it should be, I wouldn't have thought. But you do have venting here, which we don't have on this Spark model. Not sure why necessarily. Might have been because at Monza maybe it was getting hotter than Daytona, I'm not sure. Another big difference with these two cars, the Monza car and the Le Mans car, is the size of the front splitter air dam affair. And of course Monza then, I mean before it had bank curves, but then it would have been a flat race track, and Le Mans would have been a flat race track, whereas the Daytona, of course, they'd be on the banking and you're curving round like this, so you'd potentially ground the car on the bank curve. So that's probably why it doesn't have that extended splitter on the front of that car. So this car is quite interesting because it's got quite a radical and good-looking livery. You know, they've really taken over a lot of the car with that livery, which is good to see. But you know, there's various versions of these cars. The livery on this Thatcher car is a bit more dull. You've got, interestingly on here, you've got these metal supports for the air dam. On this one, the profile seems different. It comes down and supports it like that. I'm not sure if there's a benefit or not. Maybe the cooling would have been better on this one, allowing the air to get into there. I'm not sure. But you actually see a proper Lancia front grille on this one. And on this one, whereas on this Daytona car, you don't. It's really minimalist. Just stick the radiator there, perhaps. I'm not sure why that would have been. Maybe it was a cleaner track and didn't need anything in front of it. I don't know. Anyway, the headlights, even though we haven't got the blacked out background around the headlight detail is good. Nice to see those. And the tail light detail is good. It's not just painted on or anything. Let's see if these are painted on. No, we've got lights up here on this one. So it's funny how they vary. And you've got the huge gaping hole at the back here and not on this one. And on this one, you've got engine detail through the plexiglass. Whereas on the Spark and on the best models, you've just got what looks like a parcel shelf. So it's interesting to see the differences. Anyway, looking into the car, you can see the transmission tunnel. Really, it's not a transmission tunnel. It's just for where the gear mechanism would be. Let's see if we can see. Oh, it's always very dark in these cars, so it's really hard to see in here. This best model is lighter and clearer. You've got a wound down window, which probably helps, and you can see in there quite well. But let's look at this. You've got seatbelt detail there, so that's not bad. Yeah, okay. Cooling duct, you've got detail and paint. Yeah. So very happy with this car. Pleased to see it. Added it to my collection just this week, and I got a good deal on it, so I'm pleased. Second hand, of course. So I'm pleased to see this model's been well looked after, no scratching on the screen, which is great. So I do have a fair number of Lancia models, largely HPI models, some more 037s. Well, sorry, 037s, which are the rally car, but I've got a Stradale version of 037 too. So they're HPI, and in my book, HPI have better detail than Spark even. But I do like my Sparks. I've got quite a lot. So do have a look at my Lancia playlist. Do subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot of 43rd scale videos, 12th, 18th, and even 64ths. Wide range of models, racing cars, Le Mans cars, road cars. So do subscribe. I tend to release video every Friday if I can. So thanks for watching, and you'll hear from me again soon. Cheers.